Welcome to the Creative Spin Podcast, episode number numero uno. Yes, this is the first episode of the Creative Spin Podcast. It has now been a year, actually, that we've recorded this one. We recorded it back in January of 2019. And the reason why this is here, well, you should actually watch the intro video to this channel that can explain all of it to you if you're new to this podcast. If you're not, hey, welcome back. How's it going? Yeah, we're here, new channel. You like it? You like the colors? You like the pictures? If you're new to this channel, well, we've been around for a while. We've been around for about a year. We now decided to move all the episodes into this channel, so we're doing a little bit of a recap in like before the actual episode starts, just so that we can understand what's going on and you guys know what's going on. So this episode is actually the first episode. This is the episode that we talk about who we are, and when I say we, it's me, Jamie. Hi, nice to meet you, and Anna. We talk about who we are, what we've been doing, why we're recording these podcasts, what this podcast is all about. Yes. And yeah, I just hope you guys like it. And yeah, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, okay? It's very important. And let's hit that intro. So this is the first episode, official episode.
Episode number 1.
Is it number 1 or is it 00?
Let's call it 1.
1? Okay,
yeah.
Let's call it 1. Well, first and foremost, welcome to the first podcast. Creative Spin. That's the name we came up with, right?
And I love it.
But before we get into that, we need to introduce ourselves because nobody knows who the heck we are. So my name is Jamie Iria. Currently the owner of Creative 7, thus the Creative Spin. Even though the Creative Spin has to do with the spin I put into everything in my life, and you know this. So that's on a nutshell. I think we should dig in a little bit so people know who the heck we are and what we've done in the past and all of that. But introduce yourself.
I'm Ana Fernandes Iria, and
what a great last name.
I know, eh? I'm
You're my wife.
I'm your wife.
There you go. Let's put people were at home now thinking, what are they related? Yeah.
I'm your wife.
Husband and wife. Yeah.
I'm a creative writer for Creative 7, but I'm also full-time a high school teacher.
High school teacher.
Yes.
Of course, designers and teachers go well together. So, Anna, give us a little bit of a background of what you've been up to. Like, I would say, let's go back about 10 years, 5 years, 2 years.
Yeah, I would say 20 at least. Actually, yeah, 20. 20 is accurate.
Okay, let's start with your professional life. How about that?
Ooh, there's so much. Okay, so I have a bit of experience when it comes to radio and communication and TV and all of that, because as a university student, and thus the 20 years.
Time flies.
As a university student, I was fortunate enough to have a part-time job at a radio station. It was here in Toronto, and it was a program that was meant for the Portuguese community.
Yeah, that's a good point. We should also say that we're from Toronto,
yes,
Canada, just in case, you never know.
So it was an interesting project. As I said, I was into education and I was studying French and history. Those are the two subjects I adore.
You always had the radio bug in
I
there.
always had the radio bug. I remember as a child, living in Portugal still, I used to listen to the radio and imagine myself doing one of those shows. I loved music. I'm a rocker at heart, but I love the 80s.
You can't play any trivia when it comes to music with this lady here, because
yes and no. It's the 80s,
especially the 80s.
Yeah, but it's got to be what I like, and I find
which is everything.
But it's interesting because in North America, a lot of the hits that were popular here, they never made it to Europe, and vice versa, right? So a lot of times I know so much about the 80s that I used to listen to back home. And then when I'm talking to my friends and I mention this, amazing song that I used to listen to that we all know, and I find them all staring at me. And then they throw one song that was really popular here, and I'm like, never heard that song before. So yes and no, but yes, I do love the 80s, and I do remember always having that bug to the radio.
Yeah.
And so it came true. Dreams do come true. And it came true because I spoke Portuguese, believe it or not, and so I was fortunate enough to land a job as a DJ, news reporter, a little bit of everything at CIRV, which is still a radio station, 88.9, and I loved it. I really loved it. I stayed there for almost 13 years.
Actually, that's where we met.
And that's where I met you, yeah?
Yeah, that's where it all happened, people. Yeah, I was getting up because I just heard that the radio was still playing in the background. So
which is okay.
This is the first episode. I think we're allowed.
Yes, I believe so.
We're allowed to do this kind of stuff. So you were saying, so you did obviously a long time. I mean, that was 10
I had the
13 years.
Yeah,
right?
I had the opportunity to have different shows, from talk shows to just playing music to doing news reports to going outside and doing live mentions and all of that.
Those were always fun.
So it was
back
really
in the day
fun.
when you had to carry this big case.
Yes,
that weighed
and connect all sorts of wires. I'm you know me. I'm terrible with anything.
Really?
Anything technology.
You are?
I know how to use it, but if something goes wrong, oh boy.
That's good to know. It's good to know.
But there was a technician around all the time. So
a lot of times it was called Jamie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was really interesting. At the same companies, so the CIRV group they came up afterwards. I would say probably in 2001 maybe, with a TV station, and I have to say I'm not a big fan of TV compared to radio. I love radio. I love the mystery of radio, and that's why I love podcasts.
So none of this stuff is good for you. All the lights.
It's good, but I'm not a big fan of it.
Not a fan.
But I did have the opportunity to do a show for 1 year at that TV station, which again, it was a learning process.
Everything
I loved
is a
it.
learning process.
I loved it.
I mean,
yeah.
We now look back at all these experiences, and when we think about it at the time, we're like, oh my God, like,
yeah.
How does this work? Why is this going like this? Why are people making these type of decisions? Why am I doing this? And then when, 20 years now down the road, when we look at it and we think about it, and like, wow, what?
Yeah.
I'm here today and I'm able to do what I do today based on that experience, based on what we did back then, right?
But you had your radio.
I had a little bit of the radio life as well, because again, so I started working at the same company, but they also had a newspaper, and that's where I came in, being a graphic design background. The opportunity came. I started working there. I was designing, doing all the stuff for the newspaper, from all the ads and the layouts and the you name it. I was doing it, and again, looking back. When I was there, when I was doing all this stuff at the same time, and everything had to be done, it was a weekly newspaper, so we had to get everything done by Wednesday, and it was a rush all the time, and I was going mental all the time. But that's exactly what got me ready to be in the position I am today, and to open Creative 7, because I was there for 5 years. And then you actually came along and worked with us as a reporter as well. So we're always working together.
Which is good. I have to say.
Listen, I hear a lot of couples saying that they couldn't stand working together.
I love it.
We've always worked together.
I love it, actually. Yeah.
We always had like a side project. You had your teaching, I had my designing thing, but then there was always some little project
that we did in common.
We always worked together. And here we are again, just because. Why not? But, going back to the craziness of that time, what we thought it was a crazy thing, that's what got me ready.
Yeah.
To do what I do today. And in a lot of times when even today at Creative 7, crunch time comes around and we need to get stuff done, and there's a deadline and we need to send it out and the client needs it. It's almost like that's my zone.
Yeah.
I've gotten so used to it that I feel like if I wasn't in a rush, if I didn't have that time frame, I would probably be slacking off, and I'm not, because I'm used to that and I like it as much as I complain about it.
Yeah.
Right? Today's podcast is brought to you by Workplace One, a company offering boutique private offices, co-working spaces, and virtual office solutions, as well as meeting rooms in the best neighborhoods of Toronto and Kitchener-Waterloo. Ideal for entrepreneurs, companies, and passionate business people. Workplace One is where you want to be with your business. For more information, go over to workplaceone.com.
Yeah.
Right? It's interesting.
And it's funny that you're saying that, because that craziness, the radio, like being timed all the time, like a person is talking, you've got a minute left, and you need to cut them off, even if they're going on and on, which with the podcast doesn't happen, right?
Let me just make a little pause here to talk about how the radio worked back then, especially being a small radio station.
Yeah,
you were the DJ, you were the news anchor, you were
everything.
Everything.
You
had
were
to
everything.
go look for the music, and we're talking about CDs and what were those big cassette things?
Yeah, they were called carts, I think, or something cart. I can't remember. I can't even remember anymore.
These oversized cassettes.
Cassettes, yeah.
That had the jingles and and like there were no.
And then
computers going on
slowly
there.
the computers were introduced.
Then they came in, but that was
vinyls, like they're popular now. We had vinyls when I started.
We just bought a nice vinyl case to our daughter, but
that's the thing.
But that's it. It's coming back, and the experience of that helped us a lot, right?
So much, to the point where I remember when I finished university, I was lucky enough to land a job right away. Most teachers are not that lucky. And then, as you know, I kept, and this is, I guess, where we are a bit crazy, I kept working as a part-time for the radio station and the newspaper. I was working full-time as a teacher, and then I decided to do my master's as part-time as well. But it was that experience from the radio station and from especially the newspaper with timelines that allowed me to always turn in papers on time and well researched, because I had that mindset. I work well under pressure.
Had to research a lot.
Yeah, I mean
the internet was. When I
did my it was already around, but nothing like Google it now and it's there.
I remember we all had Yahoo accounts.
I still do. I use it for.
I know you do.
My when I go shopping and things.
It's still embarrassing. It's still embarrassing. But,
no, it's not. It doesn't bother me.
Let's just step back a little bit to talk about what we're doing here with this podcast. Is really, we've got enough experience from 20 plus years of being in the media business. Now you're a full-time teacher. You do a lot of work here with me at Creative 7 as a creative writer in regards to social media as well. And this podcast kind of came about because of all of this stuff, and because we've been talking about this for about 3 years.
Yep.
Honestly, it's been about 3 to 4 years that we've been talking about creating this podcast, and there's always something. There's always, because we do have a lot of these projects
about, like you have a blog about,
and I keep telling my clients, and fortunately, a lot of my clients have listened to me.
Yeah.
So they're not paying attention to what I do; they're actually paying attention to what I say, which is it's the right thing to do, because this happens a lot when you're the guy that knows what you need to do sometimes, and when you're offering that service to clients like I am on a day-to-day basis. I tell my clients, because I know what they need to do, and in most cases I don't do it myself because of lack of time, and I'm doing it for them.
Yeah.
Right. And so, because that is my business. But this year I decided no more excuses. We did a couple of runs of video in the beginning of the year, and we're going back into that. But this podcast hopefully will help other people out there that are either starting or are like us, that have been doing this for 20 years and have a lot of experience, or 30 or 40 or 50, and bring in that experience. I think we're living through an era right now that it's so much about sharing that experience, about being able to tell people, listen, I've done this before, or I tried this and it didn't work out, or I'm trying this new computer, or new phone, or new whatever it is, and this is what I feel about it.
Yep.
And people are now more and more sharing that information, and I think the podcast is one of the best vehicles to do that.
And not only that, I think that we were just talking about music. I feel that nowadays people in general prefer to listen to a podcast more than they would probably listen to their whatever music
I don't think it's so
they
much
have.
prefer. I'm gonna go against you on that one. I don't think they prefer to listen to it. I think that we have now figured out that there are moments in our day that it's better to listen to a podcast than to listen to music, or it's an option. Right?
Yeah, but
I
I also think that there's so much to learn
100%.
on the go. Again,
Like you commute a lot.
Yes, and so as much as I love listening to music, I rarely do. I'm more of I listen to a podcast or a book. I'm that's just who I am.
I mean, yeah, you're listening to a book, but it's kind of like it's a podcast.
It is
style.
in
It's
a
the
way,
same thing.
but podcasts have become one of my favorite things to listen to because of what I learn. Like if I
'Cause
follow,
you love books.
I love
so
books.
You found now a
Yeah.
whole bunch of these podcasts that talk about books, and
and I've learned so much. It's
soon we will have one of your podcasts about books. Right?
yes, I'm working on
Okay.
one as well.
All right.
But I think that you learn so much about a certain author that you like, or a certain book that you like, or maybe sometimes you don't even know something, and there's that podcast to tell you, not just books, but really anything. And everything, right?
And that's what I want to bring into this podcast. I mean, we will be doing a lot of the podcasts here. This is our home studio, but a lot of the other podcasts, the guests and all of that, we're gonna have that happening at our office downtown Toronto, and hopefully we can get more and more people coming in. And what I want to do is I don't want to just go into just a creative person. I don't want to just get art. Yeah, I do want to, speak to artists and to other graphic designers and to people within what we do at Creative 7. But my goal is also to talk to people that have businesses, as an example, or are just professional. They don't need to have a business.
Yeah.
They do something interesting. I want to bring that experience in and be able to kind of share that with the audience. And always with that creative spin.
Exactly.
That's the name.
Yeah.
But that's my goal, because I honestly, truly believe that if we all are able to listen to everybody's experience, we're all going to learn something. Like I've learned so much from people that are uneducated in what I do, that have no clients of mine that have nothing to do with the creative side of businesses, but they
give a creative spin to it.
They've definitely they've opened my eyes to a lot of these little details, because we tend to get into that box. And I think a lot of people, you're a teacher. Sometimes teachers get into that little box.
Oh, for sure.
And then that's all you live, you breathe, and that's it.
And it's hard to step out of it.
And then you don't step, and you can't see what's going on, really.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you listen to somebody that's just outside of that box, that comes with a different spin, comes with a different angle to a specific problem or a specific issue, that's going to open your eyes, and that's going to make it a lot more interesting for you to kind of grow your business or grow yourself,
or project,
or your side project. A lot of
exactly.
people that are watching might have their jobs, but they have their side projects that they've always wanted to do. They love cooking, so we live in the digital age.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. I mean, this is as easy as getting a camera and taking it to your kitchen and grab your phone, right? Grab your phone. That's all you need nowadays.
Yeah.
You grab your phone, you take it to your kitchen, all of a sudden, you know what? You might have a great recipe that you want to share with the world. And that's how it is,
you
right?
end up creating these virtual relationships with people
Absolutely.
that are so interesting and in my opinion, very, very important.
We've made friends
Yeah.
from all over the world based on social media apps that we've played around with, that we've used in the past, and we still keep in contact with people today from 3-4 years ago, which is so interesting that the world is now opened up, and it just makes it available for anybody to have that opportunity to showcase what they do. And it could be anything.
Really,
I mean, you go onto YouTube, you go onto any website now, I mean, any social media platform, and you can see it. It's any type of thing, hobby. whatever it is.
Which is really awesome. And it does allow you to step outside that box and to sort of broaden your horizon when it comes to, again, whatever it is that you
whatever
like.
it is. So that's really, I've been talking about this podcast to a lot of people, and they're always, the question is, so what is it going to be about? And I've always had, and we've had many nights that we just
brainstorming
at dinner time, and we're talking about this. What are we going to call it? What is it going to be about? Because the biggest difficulty that I've had with this question is that, well, Creative 7, I mean, we've evolved. We went from being just a design, print, little office to, we do everything from large format printing to web design to social media to video to audio. I mean, we've expanded into different areas. I can't really put all of that into a description, because then if you're going into to find out, okay, I want to listen to this podcast, what are these guys talking about? You read that paragraph, you'll be what?
Yeah, it's sort of it gets confusing for sure.
So when we now decided to call it Creative Spin, I think we both agree that is who we are.
Yeah,
we always give that creative spin to everything. And this I think we're gonna go not only to interviews with professionals, but I think a lot of times when it's the two of us, what I want to do is grab the interesting things that have happened to our lives Monday to Friday, because we're going to be recording on Saturdays. One of the goals, by the way, and I'm putting this on tape. I was going to say on tape.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm old. Yes, I am old. But I'm putting it on tape. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it still. That we're going to come out with a podcast every week, minimum.
Yep.
Because there's so much to talk about, and I think we've been holding back for so long. And I think that because we're in two different areas of life, me in more in Creative 7, you more in the teaching side, I think there's a lot of experiences that we can bring in. We know a lot of people, so I think it'll be interesting grabbing those people and talking to them about everything and anything. So yeah, technology
and learning.
I mean, technology. I'm a techie guy. I love tech stuff. This is I live it, breathe it. I guess because I don't know if it has much to do with it, but I think it does. Being a designer, you always want to have the best computer, the best little device that can help you on your day to day and be creative, right? I mean, I work on tablets. I work with GoPros, I work with whatever, right? Whatever can help me do my job better and faster with better quality, I'm there.
Yep.
And whatever comes out, I'm always on top of it. And I'm always teaching Anna what to do with the button that she always goes, why isn't this working?
I think indirectly I also teach you, because I make so many mistakes.
If truth be told, if it wasn't for her
to figure things out,
a lot of the things I know today, it's because I'm trying to solve her problems. And
it's funny because I learned how to type on a typewriter, right? And
it's okay.
I was in grade 9, right? And then in grade 10...
We're not going to do the math.
And then in grade 10, the computers came into our school. What were they called? IBM? Was that what it was?
Probably. IBMs were
I don't even remember.
Were the thing.
But anyways, so I'm walking in with... And I was always a fast typer for some reason. So I usually type 80 words a minute. And a lot of the problems is that I think because I type so fast. There's people who type way faster than I do, right?
Yeah.
But it's fast enough to hit buttons and functions that I don't.
Yeah, on a computer.
And I don't look at the keyboard. I just look at what I'm typing because I know where the letters are, right?
I'm here thinking about one particular case. This is still back at the newspaper days.
Yes.
So we're talking about I had a Mac, a G3, if I'm not mistaken, one of those gray boxes. And this young lady here is typing along, trying to finish off that article. And all of a sudden, I don't know what keyboard, I still don't know what keyboard she hit, shortcut she hit, but the computer starts reading everything she's saying. and loud. Remember,
it was so annoying. It was
so
annoying.
it's reading the whole article. So she just hit the speech thing, and at the time, I didn't even know the computer did that. I'm like,
Yeah, me
what's
neither.
going on? So I'm going through all these preferences,
And it underlined, as it read, it underlined
yeah, and
the
then
text.
I finally figured that one out, and that, but that was it was a good one because at the time the newspaper director, he was an older gentleman, and he started yelling at us, "What the hell are you guys doing? Like, what's going on? We need to finish this." And the computer kept on reading your article.
Yeah, and then
which was
I told
interesting.
him, I stopped typing. I stepped away from the computer, and the computer kept reading to me. And I said, listen, it's
Hey,
possessed.
listen, it's all good. So that's a little bit about us. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not much more
And
that.
why the Creative Seven, why the creative spin to our podcast?
Yeah, and it's creative spin, work, and life. I
It's
think that's
everything.
going to be the main thing, because I don't want it to be just work. I also want to bring the real side of life. And I think, in our case, there are more cases out there of couples that like to work together and like to do things together. And I think that, trying to be creative together, sometimes it could be fun, sometimes it could be difficult. And I think that we could bring a little bit of the experience of what we've done in the past and what we're going through today with our company and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, it has been almost 15 years with Creative 7, so there are a few stories that we can
share.
we can share.
Yeah.
I mean, even going back, I just thought about the other project that we have online, that we had
Yes,
online,
we
which
did.
was PT Virtual.
Yeah.
So it was a news website that was interesting. It went on for about 5 years, 4 or 5 years.
Something like that.
In
yeah.
2001, 2002,
And it
kind of
taught
thing.
us so much.
It taught us a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting project. Again,
It was
we were
al-
like
it
early
was-
on.
I guess an early form of a blog.
It was a news website. I
It
mean,
was a news website,
yeah.
and it.
It was amazing experience
Yeah, it
again.
was.
But a lot of difficulties back then. People didn't believe that.
I think
that-
we were too advanced for
We
what
were
it
way
was.
too ahead, especially in the community that we were starting in. I think we were way too advanced at that time with that project. But again, it helped us with a lot of the stuff that we're doing today.
I learned so much.
So we're not here by accident. That's what I'm trying to say. We've been around the block when it comes to technology and I guess now social media and all of that. So we're going to continue this adventure. We're going to be recording on a weekly basis. We're going to try to put out the videos and the podcasts on a weekly basis. Hopefully we can actually, come up with not only one, but two.
We're gonna blog about stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we're
yeah,
blogging already a
it's-
lot.
yeah.
We've been doing that for a few years, and
so-
yeah. So at this point, we'll be creating the website for this podcast as well. Probably by the time that this podcast comes out, it will be up and running. It should be creativespinpodcast.com. If you go there right now and it's not working, you can call me up and say, what the heck are you doing?
It should be right.
But I've registered it, so now it's just a matter
it's
of
yours.
now it's a matter of getting it ready. And that's it. I mean, I don't think we need to go any further
Nope.
with this first episode. I just hope you guys stay tuned. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget if you find this interesting, the whole topic, and you want to follow us on YouTube.
And if you have a creative story to share, I mean,
You know what to do. There's the
Yeah.
red button, subscribe, that kind of thing. And we're gonna try to put this in every single audio platform out there, just to make things interesting and consistent. So let us know. Let us know what you think about this. You can also follow us on Creative 7 Inc. On all major platforms, social media. So from Twitter to LinkedIn to Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
All those fun things, and that's it. So anything else you want to add, or are we
That's
going to
it
say
for
our
now.
goodbyes?
Yeah.
We're going to say our
I think
goodbyes.
we're ready to say
All right,
goodbye. Until next
guys,
time.
until the next one.